Good morning. This is Apostle Rosalind Solomon, and this is Rosalind Solomon's YouTube channel. If you like to see other links, such as to buy books, listen to my music, see my blogs, if you want to donate, tithe, sow a seed, you can look under my previous videos or go to my landing page where it says about, and you'll see all my links there in Yeshua's name. Now, I have to make two videos about some coins, and then I got to make a video about some prophecy words and visions. So I'm gonna try and do them all today and upload them. But this one, I just want to talk about something. You know, when we go to school here in America, and people go to school in Africa, and um, it's a difference from people who go to school in China, Japan, um, Russia, other countries, right? So like in our country, in an African country, they don't really teach us about money or how to run a business. They don't even teach you about your own economy that you live in, right? Um, but some people graduate and then they go to college and they learn these things. But think about this. We wouldn't need college if we learned all of those things from grammar school. We're in grammar school for 12 years. In college, I mean, you're grammar school 8 years, high school 4 years, right? If you go to college, you're only in college the average for 4 years if you want a bachelor's, 2 years with an associate. Most people go for a bachelor because an associate is like a high school diploma now, right? And then the bachelor's is even starting to fade out. So most people go the extra 2 years, which is 6 for your master's, right? And then if you want to go into your doctorate degrees, you can go for your doctorate. Then some people like double doctorate. So what is that, like 8 to 10 years? If you're a doctor, physical doctor, you go to school for 8 years, maybe 9, if you want to do like specialties, right? So you already done spent 8 years of grammar school, 4 years of high school. Here you is again 4 years in college, on the average, and then on the second average 6 years. And if you want to go for a doctorate, 8 to 9, depending on what you're doing, right? But you just spent 12 years altogether in grammar school and high school. You wouldn't need college if they taught you all of these things in grammar school and high school. And what I'm getting at is this: people in China, uh, places maybe like Taiwan, Japan, the Asian origin, Russia, um, maybe European. I heard European education is extremely good, Oxford and all of that, right? So we're going to use here America and Africa. You have many foreigners that come here to America and Africa, and they open up businesses so fast. They get the money, grants, loans, everything so fast. And here we are in America, born here, educated here, and we can't even get those type of loans and grants. How is that? You want to know why? Because in China, Japan, places like Russia, the UK, they are educated on their economy and our economy. They're educated on their own economies and America's economy and Africa's economy. Like in Africa, there you can make a lot of money opening up your own mining, in other different things in Africa. But if you go to Africa, none of those mines are really owned by Africans. They're owned by the white people, Chinese, Russia, other continents. So how is it that other continents could come into your country and run things that you should run and know more about your economy than you do, because they did not educate you? They wasted your time for 12 years for nothing. They did not educate you on your own economy. They did not educate you on mining in Africa and whatever else goes on in Africa. And in America, they don't teach us nothing about our economy. They don't teach us nothing about our money. They don't teach us nothing about taxes. You have to go to college to get this stuff. What it is a setup for failure. And I'm just using America and Africa as two things. It's a setup for failure. It's basically your own government is against you. Your own government is against you. Because if your government wasn't against you, they would teach you these things in high school. You wouldn't even have to go to college and spend millions of dollars, hundred thousands of dollars to go to college and put you in debt. It is a rigged system. It is a system to set you up for failure, right? Make you dumbfounded where you don't even know anything about your own economy, right? And you got to go pay hundreds of thousands of dollars or thousands of dollars to go to college, and you still come out with nothing really. Especially in today's economy, your degrees really aren't meaning anything. Your doctorates aren't really meaning anything anymore, right? So they just wasted our time for 12 years when they could have taught us all that stuff when we didn't even have to go to college, right? And same thing in Africa. That's why the children in Africa, they are born in debt, just like we are born in debt. We're carrying our ancestors' debt, right? So basically, we got it a little better than the children in Africa, you know. Um, they're born into poverty more so than we are, right? And the chances of them getting out of poverty is very slim if they don't come to the Lord, right? Because their school system is totally different from ours, right? But they have a lot of mining opportunities over there to get rich from, but they don't teach them about mining. But other countries like China, Russia, Japan, stuff like that, come over there, and the white man come over there and take over their mines. You have parts of Africa where white people live that black people can't even go. How can the white man and Chinese man go to Africa and set up shop, take over towns and city, have some of them have their own currency, and a black man, black woman, black child cannot step foot in that part of Africa? It don't belong to them. It belongs to the Africans. But it comes from not being educated. If Africa was more educated, I mean, you got some very intelligent people over there, but if they were more educated in their economy, if they were more educated in the government systems, if they were more educated in their country, they would not have let the white man and the Chinese man come over there and take over. They would not need their money. Africa needs nobody's money with all the jewels and gold and everything over there. But they set Africa up to fail. And in this country, foreigners come over here and get rich like I don't know what. Even in this worst economy we have now. And we sitting right here, we can't get grants. We can't get them kind of loans like these foreigners can. They come over across the border illegal, and what do they get? A place to live, food, clothes, cell phone, money. They get to vote, education. And you got people right here in America that's starving, hungry in the streets, living check by check. I mean, it's just crazy what's going on here. But yet the foreigners come in and they get so much more than us. Why? Because it's a system to set us up for failure. Your own government don't want you to succeed. Because look, if Americans could succeed, we wouldn't need no government. We'd be doing better than the government. They would not be able to control us. They would not be able to tell us what to do. You know, they would not have so much power over us. See, because to be rich and wealthy is to be independent. When you're rich and wealthy, you really don't need anybody but God, right? So if everybody in this country was well off, middle class, rich or wealthy, we'd have no need for a government. Or if we had a government, it would be one of the richest governments on the planet. Our government is not one of the richest governments on the planet by no means. We just have a lot of power because this was the country that God chose to give the power to. But eventually God's going to take the power away from this country if this country doesn't repent and relent and get right with him and become the Bible Belt like it used to. You know what I mean? So this is just some food for thought. You know, we need to start praying to God to help us to be more independent in this country. Because to be independent and to have your own wealth and riches, you know, middle class, whatever, you don't really need a government. And if you have riches of your own, it's only so much the government can dictate to you. It's only so much the government can control over us. So we need to pray and ask God to make America sovereign again. Make his people sovereign. You know, bring up a government, prepare people who can run a government. Because see, that's the problem. Not many people are prepared that are children of God to run a government. So we have to pray and ask God to raise up people who can run a government, right? His government, the way he wants it, and not the devil's government. And we need to start praying that God make us sufficient American people so that we can stand on our own and not depend on the government. Because if we leave our hands into our government, it is detriment to the demise of this country. And me and God was talking about these things, and this is nothing to get a YouTube strike or anything like that. It's just speaking truth of the Lord. This is what he told me to talk about so that we could pray, that we can become a more sovereign nation, a more